Call the Plan Commission meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on recommending the Common Council set a public hearing date for a zoning map amendment from AR Agricultural Residential to RM1 Multiple Family Residential for a 13.57 acre ML portion of St. Croix County tax parcel 040-1025-70-000 Land Devco of Hudson LLC.
If you'll remember at the last Plan Commission meeting, we withdrew the request to go from R1, the request to go from Ag Reserve to R2, because the applicant is desirous of potentially constructing more than just duplex units. So if it was a 3-plex or a 4-plex or anything greater than that, it can't be R2. So ultimately what that means is that the entire eastern half of that property, more or less, would be RM1 is the request. So the comp plan amendment requests remain the same. The Common Council approved setting a public hearing date last night for September 4th on all of these items, recommending the same in this one so that it's all organized and makes sense to everybody. We have to get an ALTA survey. That's the other piece we have to get from the applicant to show the easements and the other pieces in more detail. But again, the back half, the request is obviously for single family residential. The front half, the east half of the property is the request is to go to RM1, multiple family residential.
So is there a plan to make that higher density then too? I mean, the zoning might not reflect what they're doing, but are they gonna then put in that small area, they were gonna put real high density and then now they can do the same here? Is that their plan?
The only plans we have to go off of are the ones that were included in that capital cost study that was completed prior to the annexation going through, which still has that higher density residential and that 5-acre piece in the northeast corner, and then the 13 acres more or less of the duplexes or triplexes.
What can we limit them to if they come back for, I don't know, conditional use permit or whatever? If it's zoned that way, then can they just put in by zoning anything they want?
Not anything they want. They'll be regulated by the density requirements of that zoning district.
Well, I'll tell you, if they're paying any attention, it would behoove them not to put any more density in there.
I wouldn't think so either.
But
it'll wreck the rest of it.
There is certainly concerns of the neighbors in that area. I fully expect that discussion to be
contagious.
very active, and rightfully so. That's why we have the process. So,
Well, I'll move that we forward this for the public hearing. See where it lands. I mean,
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Who knows if the council will accept this commission's recommendations nowadays?
Stop it now.
Well,
as we see fit, and that's what I feel is the right thing to do, so.
Yeah.
but for clarification, this item comes to the Plan Commission for our, for this group's recommendation before the public hearing as well at Common Council on the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna end up there in the end anyway, so let's just get it there.
Yeah. Everybody good?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on concept and final development plans for St. Croix Meadows redevelopment stadium, St. Croix Stadium Holdings LLC.
At your places, we provided an exhibit that gives a history. Obviously, it's been some time since we've reviewed this item specifically, but last year in June, I believe, we approved, the council approved, or July, the final development plans for phase 1, which included the stadium piece, and when it took a pause, there's a year where if something doesn't happen, the plan needs to be updated and re-reviewed and then ultimately approved again. So what's on the docket today, and obviously since the time that we've done all that, the old plan that we approved showed the existing dog track facility there. Obviously that's 99% gone at this point. So there's obviously some updates to the preliminary master plan and final master plan that'll have to take place. But one of the only things that isn't changing is the location and concept of the stadium, the baseball component being where it's located. Understanding that the developer is under a time constraint to construct the facility and then have baseball ready to go in June of next year, of 19. The recommendation at this point is to approve or recommend approval of the concept and final development plans for that stadium, which again is, you know, very similar, if not identical, to what was approved in the original plan. Understanding that with the conditions included in that staff report, that the master plan for the rest of the development will have to go through a process like we did last summer for the entire development, as well as individual approvals for the ancillary structures, you know, whether it be the clubhouse, the proposed brewery facility, hotel, all of that, and the parking, all of that will have to make sure we master plan to accommodate for that use and the other uses that are proposed on the site. So with that, I might turn it over to the applicant or the representative to.
Quickly, Mike, is there a difference between this packet and this? Is it showing?
Nope. So this would be your, just the green outline would just be the basic perimeter of what we're looking at tonight.
Okay.
The different, and then the architectural plan set and civil plan set you see there is really the documents that the architect submits to the state or has submitted to the state for state building permit review. So we require that as part of our final building plan submittal.
So this is, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
this is just the stadium,
This is just the stadium.
one piece.
Yep.
Everything else will come back.
Everything has to come back because it's changed. Yep.
Clint?
Clint Kloss, St. Croix Stadium Holdings. So just as Mike has indicated, we have a timeline of when we need to get started so that we can be ready for next year as far as our building time. So as indicated, the stadium piece has not changed at all from what was approved last year, because the new building and the old office building that existed on the site will, have come down. Again, as indicated, there'll be things that are that will go in their place, but we'll go through the process of proper approvals. But so that we can start on time, that is the request, that we have the ability to get this through so that we can start on the footings and things like that, grading and whatnot that's necessary to be able to start. As far as design or any questions regarding that, I brought along one of the architects, lead architect, vice president from Leo A. Daly, if there's any questions regarding design or clubhouse or anything regarding that.
So
Frank?
this isn't,
How many seats are there going to be?
There's roughly, I believe the number is around 4,000.
4, okay.
There's 4,000 seats, total capacity with party deck areas and things like that will exceed probably 5,000.
Thank you.
And then the roadways going in will be the finalized roadways, that, for the whole development, because
Correct.
you're kind of in the center of the parcel.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that,
So you will, everything else will be planned and the roads put in will be the roads that are there when it's done.
correct, right, yeah, there'll be,
Parking,
correct.
okay.
Parking associated with that, as well as the main artery road that goes through the development.
Mary Claire?
I'm just asking for clarity. So this includes the clubhouse?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm
Just-
sorry. I thought you said and the clubhouse. I'm
No,
sorry.
the clubhouse and any other buildings as mentioned,
Got it.
we'll go through that
Okay.
process shortly thereafter, but so that we
Okay.
can start relatively soon. What hasn't changed is the stadium piece, so that's just referring to the parcel itself and the baseball stadium and field.
So is that seating and then field, is
Yes.
that it?
Yes.
The field and seating.
Correct.
Frank?
The grading, is it at grade, final grade now?
No.
Or are you going to have to do grade work there, including moving building debris out?
Yes, the building debris will come out and is actually being taken away now.
Okay.
They're just, the people that move those things out of there are a little bit slow to get it out of there, but yeah, all that debris will come out and grading will happen, and the field is set at a lower than the grade, but the grading plan that we have existing there didn't change, so that's the same.
With that hillside behind it, is that a problem at all? I mean,
No.
is that gonna collect water? Is that gonna become a duck pond?
Nope, that was planned, knowing that there was runoff and things like that, and obviously there's no buildable space there because of the rules that are in place. So we've planned ahead to make sure that there's no flooding or anything back there.
I'll move we approve the amended St. Croix Meadows redevelopment Phase 1 stadium.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second for approval. Any further discussion?
With conditions?
With
Yes.
conditions, yes, please.
Anybody else? Anything? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
Discussion of possible action on a zoning map amendment from PCD1 Planned Commercial District to PUB Public and Comprehensive Plan Amendment from General Commercial to Public at 2001 Ward Avenue, City of Hudson.
Yes, this item we've discussed briefly before when we requested that the council set a public hearing date. This is the site that's the proposed fire station would be going on Ward Avenue. Currently zoned PCD. It's just changing it to public to allow for a fire station on that site.
Are the roadways adequate and everything like that for up there for the large vehicles in and out, you know, because that's kind of tucked behind those buildings with some sharp corners and stuff, that's not a problem?
Yep, and I would defer to, obviously, Chief St. Martin on that, but he's indicated that it would work for him.
I think it's a better location for town in the, you know, in the total scheme of things. I'll move to approve with any conditions if there are any. If there aren't, I move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Mary Claire?
I'm sure this is a separate topic, but about the current site, so this won't be a site at all? This won't be a fire?
Oh, the building across the street here? That's a discussion I think that will have to take place with council because we have EMS in there currently too, and
So is this an additional site?
With the action that happened last night, okay, so EMS is, depending upon the outcome of the study that we voted for last night, let's just say the city keeps EMS.
Okay,
EMS will go up on Ward Avenue as well.
okay.
Okay, and there is a proposal to retrofit a building up there for EMS. Okay, but given the outcome of the vote to do a study last night, we deferred action on moving forward on doing that building up there until we know what's going to happen with EMS. So arguably, fire could go up there and EMS could still be down here depending upon how long all this takes.
But ultimately, in the end, you think it could, you mean, could it stay here?
I would say
Could that impair the redevelopment of that building and property, or?
no.
Okay.
No, the fire station is going in. If this stays a municipally based EMS is going up the hill. I presume that's true. I mean, we still have to vote to approve the construction or the retrofitting of the building up there and the cost, right? How we're going to pay for it. But and seems to be the disposition of the council right now is that that's where all of it should be, and this building then would open up, and we would probably likely take it out to bid to somebody for development. Comment, Randy?
No.
I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought long-term it was.
Well, just one little thing, that this could be something to do with parking.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was the second on that?
Frank.
Frank was?
All right, any further discussion? Anybody? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Anybody, I've got nothing. Mike, anything?
Emily's been working to try and get meetings set up, understanding that the dog track stuff. We have the CSM to subdivide those properties for the corporate user as well as the baseball piece, and then delineate the roadway going through the middle of the site. All that's coming together in a very, very tight window, so appreciate the patience as we try to get these meetings scheduled. I would like, if possible, if we end up having a meeting on the 20th at 4 p.m., which it sounds like that works for at least a quorum, to again have a meeting on the 21st, which would be our regular time, to delve into discussions on the lead rezoning request and making sure that we provide adequate notice to everybody around so that they can attend those meetings and make their,
Sure. Okay.
state their case, so.
One thing is that I don't, before I came in, Mike may have apprised you that we now have approval for the second TIF district. The downtown district was voted on today by the review board, municipal review board, and had unanimous support. So we're off and running for the downtown TID. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mary Claire?
So I was just gonna, so August 8th, we're gonna meet at 7 p.m., right?
Wednesday, August 8th.
And then
7
August
p.m.
20th, we're gonna meet at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
And then August 21st,
7.
7.
okay. I will either not be able to attend or be late, so.
Let me ask this, and maybe it's none of my business or our business. Are they behind on this, like on the ball field and stuff like that, where now they're scrambling to try to get done for next year?
I think that's a little bit of it because, to be ready by June.
Pushes the
1
rest
here,
of it,
yeah,
too?
that, it's a tight schedule, but obviously they got to get all the stuff still pulled out of there, so.
Okay. I mean, it's nothing we can do about it, but.
No.
Okay.
I think their focus was a little shifted to other business that's happening up there.
Like
Yeah,
what?
I would
What do you
agree.
mean?
The large business user,
Yeah,
so,
They changed.
they're trying to fill that business, so that's where their focus has been, on the other half of development.
Absolutely. Library board, paying the bill.
yes. Big one.
Yeah.
You mean the other part of their
Yep,
property?
so generally east and north of the through road that goes through the site, yep.
Okay,
Or west and north, sorry.
okay.
I think, in retrospect to going to the council on this rezoning of the land development thing, it was my understanding that nobody wanted high density to any degree. And then to really give them more as we have here, or as they're requesting, wasn't what I wanted to do, but I just also thought it's gonna end up at the city council anyway. I hope that, I don't know how to say this, but I mean, I hope that that doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean that it won't and can't. I mean, I also think it'll impair their ability to sell their units on the other part of the property. And then, of course, the neighbors are gonna
Oh, sure.
go bonkers. But it's still gonna end up at council. So, I
It'll
mean,
come back to us.
excuse me?
I said it'll come back to us.
Well, that's why I asked, what do we approve then if it gets that zoning status? That's why I asked that question. Because if it does, then it comes back to us, can we try to scale it back? And the answer is apparently not.
It would depend on how much density they can get per acre. If it were to be approved.
Right.
But again, they make an application and then we'll make a review of it. We'll have to go through a detailed review of it and I couldn't tell you exactly how many units. I know that we based our capital cost study off of the concept that they showed.
Right. So they're
and
increasing that. They're increasing that.
Not that I'm aware of. It's that concept fundamentally is what they're looking for, is my understanding.
There were not, when we discussed it before, there were not apartment buildings. They were more along the lines of 2 and 3 and 4-plex, weren't they?
They've always had that corner shown
Except in
as-
that corner.
Yep, that northeast corner apartments.
Okay, it was apartment.
And then they had their 2, 3s, and 4s, or whatever they are, and then the single family in the back.
It's really no different than the golf course, except the golf course doesn't have any high-density housing, correct?
Correct. Well, perspective, too. I mean, there are some tight patio.
Everybody's
homes there.
definition is different. I understand that, but by design,
Yeah.
by design.
But ultimately, we can say yes or no for a reason
Oh, absolutely.
to anything that comes.
Well, alls we, at least we're allowed to give our opinion. It appears that what we're issuing now is our opinion, so.
But I think it's a recommendation based on the facts that we've reviewed, so I guess I'm trying to understand how, I mean, I get that the council can overturn that,
Right.
but
Well, in the past, this committee was respected as, that's the opinion, we did our due diligence, and then that was accepted in normal practice. Typically.
so did we miss, we
Is
probably
the
don't want to
TV
go,
on?
I'm sorry. Motion to adjourn?
I think it might be.
I don't think it is. Motion
TV
to
off?
adjourn?
Still
Call a
going.
meeting, yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
I second.
Okay. A motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Stand adjourned.
We're done.